Live streaming, we know. Okay, sorry about that. We had to get the microphones on so you could hear what we're saying. You're welcome for the show. Okay. Welcome to the park meeting, October 1st. I officially call this meeting to order. Our first order of business is approval of our minutes from September. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I agree also. Thank you. Claims. Okay, I do have some questions about the claims, Ms. Tanya. Page 2. Mr. Hanson, $543. That's repairs on current equipment. It says reimbursement for service equipment at golf course.
That is we had to take the filter off the fairway unit that had a stake, and I did not have a company credit card, so I put that on my credit card so we could get it done, so we could get it back.
Okay, so fixing something we already owned.
It was repairs for a mower.
Okay, thank you. Is our electricity bill always this high and I just don't remember it? For Legacy Park, Bicentennial Park, the $854, is that normal? Okay, I mean, I know we've had the music festival. Okay, oh, okay. Page 3. Golden West Industrial Supply. Is that a spray paint? That's just regular spray paint that you use? Do you just buy that every 6 months?
Marking paint for major events. We have the section, boys and girls sectionals, we paint the creeks and water hazards.
So some extra stuff that we don't normally do. Okay, thank you. And what about the $1,200 campground equipment? Under less, what playground, what equipment do we buy for the campground that costs $1,200?
That's his contract.
Oh, thank you. That's deceiving with the campground equipment listing there. Maybe it could be campground attendant salary or something? Okay, don't start with me, Linda. Okay. Under the water and sewage, we have 2 different bills from Sunrise. So do we have 2 different meters? Is that why? Does anybody know?
I believe the golf course is split 2 different ways. There's a front and a back.
Okay,
The runoff, yes.
so there are 2 separate bills. Thank you.
Look pretty high, I'm guessing it's because of the drought, all right?
Drought, leaks.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. If we had a more efficient irrigation system, would it be less?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How much would you say?
Half.
Okay.
Half.
And if it costs us, how many $1 million to do the irrigation? And we, 3 million, and we save $1,000 a month, where's Charlie Ferguson when I need him with this calculator? How many years would that take us to pay off?
I was
Few.
just gonna keep getting more.
It's not necessarily saving, it's just more efficient. I mean, the efficiency will save money in the leaks in its own right. There's places that leak, I don't know where they're leaking.
Okay.
I can't see them.
I don't know, it's a different discussion, but when we keep having
Right.
having to fix these things and pay extra in money. At some point, we're gonna have to get there.
Advertising fees for the campground. What kind of places are we advertising for $1,500 a month? Because there's a $750 and an $850. Page 5.
His CC fees, credit card fees.
Did you find it yet? It's the second section on page 5.
That's the charge that's required for.
And that's an electronic site that does our reservations.
They get a percentage of.
So that's their cut. Wow. So we had a good month then if that was their cut. At the bottom of page 5, is that the cost that Spear charges us to close the pool, that 6,000?
Correct.
Okay. And is that something that we're looking to do in the future? Or do we think that we have a handle on it, that we can open and close it ourselves?
There are parts of it we could do to lessen that amount, but parts that we're not comfortable doing ourselves. So
Okay.
it should be less next year, but we can't do all of it.
Okay.
If I may,
Can you come to the podium, Mr. Hanson? And, thank you.
That fee is based on the closing of the previous year and the previous service. So we went through a service of the flood this fall. Next year we go off of the closing of this fall to the opening of the spring, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so you think it was more because of the flood and all that?
Yes.
Okay,
Not a lot, but yes, it was. But it is something, I went through it with them, and with that investment, that's something that they need to do. They need to be involved in that.
and with us learning some of that process, we think we can cut those costs down.
Yes.
Thank you. Then on page 6, the leasing, is that the equipment lease, the 4242? Just keep your microphone
Correct.
on, girl. Okay, I think that's it. Does anybody else have any questions?
I think you hit them all.
All right. Then I will make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Operations report, Tanya Burnett.
Okay, you should have the appropriation reports there in your packet. We're watching those closely and going to move some money around to cover payrolls, the main one, especially at Crystal Beach. Go ahead and talk about Crystal Beach, since that's the one I have pulled up. You've got a profit and loss there for Crystal Beach. And then the appropriation report, we're short in salaries, which we knew we would be. We had extra money in concessions, chemicals. There were several areas that we had chunks of money within the appropriated budget. So we're going to move that. Mindy's working on the transfer for the next council meeting to move those monies up to cover those Crystal Beach payroll where there's the shortfall. And then we need $13,000 appropriated from the campground is what we ended up being short. What wasn't already appropriated, we only needed $13,000. So that additional appropriation is also on the docket for next week's council meeting.
And you're saying that 13,000 that we're taking from campground is to cover the salary shortfall?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And that number ended up being lower than we thought. Yeah. I do want to mention that we received a grant from Bethany Legacy Foundation and Jane's Kids. We run a program for the pool through them. And it was $19,925 from Bethany Legacy Foundation and $1,200 from Jane's Kids. They paid for kids on WIC and SNAP for the summer for the pool. So that income we just noted on September. So that's included in that profit and loss statement there for September, showing a net gain of $36.85 for September. So I want to thank Bethany and Jane's Kids for continuing to sponsor the kids to come to the pool. And then you should have there in your packet kind of this Crystal Beach structure, something we sat down and worked on really to, we refined the payroll expense quite a bit from the previous year at Crystal Beach, but to do that even more next year, we're going to do away with head lifeguards that are the teenagers and just have 3 adult managers that rotate, so there'll be 1 adult there at all times, and then the lifeguards will work under them. The only head lifeguard we're keeping is Emily, who did all the swim lessons. But again, just whittling down that payroll expense at the pool as much as we can. And we'll be doing all the scheduling ourselves.
Just curious, why do we need 3 pool managers?
Well, it's really just the manager on duty, so that there be an adult there at all times.
How-
Last year, we just had one, Shelley, and then some head lifeguards. Just doing away with those head lifeguards that are teenagers and make more an hour, and having an adult there at all times.
So the adults would be the ones making the decision on weather and who goes home and who
Correct.
stays?
Correct. Be the manager on duty of the pool at that time.
What about lifeguard staffing? Are we going to have a more solid, cohesive team of lifeguards?
What
Like
do you-
fewer guards that are actually there more often, like
Correct.
a summer job? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions, any other questions about that?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay,
This goes back to the Bethany, though,
okay.
because I'm looking for, I see your number of, for the, the cards that they give to the people who qualify.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the number of visits times $7, blah, blah, blah. And I see that number at 19,925. But I don't see the 36,000 number that you mentioned, adding in the James kids, the Bethany, and something else. Wick and
Oh,
Snap.
that
Where's
was just,
number?
that was the September, at the bottom of the profit and loss, net income for September. I'm sorry.
Okay, can you be more specific? Because I'm looking at it, I still don't see a 36,000 anywhere here.
No, it's 3,600.
3,600.
Yeah. Sorry, they're small numbers.
I know. Guys, do you see it on the September?
It's the net income. It's the very bottom number for
36,800.
September.
368505,
Yeah.
right above where it says includes food for Rucker and Sunrise.
Show me on this. Thank you. Okay, so that's it. Huge thank you to Bethany. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
for
you,
sure.
over and over and over.
We do have, one more thing about Crystal Beach, we do have some off-season work that we're doing, and Christian will touch on that when he comes up and gives his report, but there's still a lot happening at the pool, getting it ready for next season. Okay, so we'll move on to the campground, and then you've got that profit and loss there. And we're showing a net profit of $84,361.28 for the year. And that is, like I mentioned last time, after we took $50,000 from them already.
And that was to cover our deficit from last year, correct?
Correct.
But then didn't we also, at the last council meeting, didn't I propose an ordinance to take some out to pay some Sunrise expenses too?
That's going to be in the
Next
additional
month's.
allocation at the next meeting.
Okay,
So we are taking $67,000 from the campground for Sunrise for equipment, the new leased equipment, and $13,000 for Crystal Beach, and $4,500 for Rucker.
yikes, so do we break even there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you, campground.
yes.
They support our parks. Yeah. I will mention that Les and Natalie have been getting a lot of positive reviews from people. We get a lot of feedback. Just when we were down there the other day, there was campers that have come every year and just said how nice it looks. So even after the flood, they're appreciative of the work we did to get it back open, and that Les and Natalie were doing a great job running the place. And just that he was out there working, making stuff look nice constantly, and they really appreciated that. They, I don't have their contract ready yet. We'll probably do that at the beginning of the year, but they have shared that they would like to return next year. So I'm really glad to have them back and continue in the good work they've been doing. Any questions on the campground before we move on? Okay. I've got a report here from Brett K. Hall. You've got that printed off there, but volleyball practice started this week, and games start in 3 weeks. We've got 55 players signed up, and that's up from 44 last year. They had a fantastic turnout for a clinic last Sunday, September 21st, with 34 kids participating in that clinic. Girls basketball, halfway through their fall league. Tremendous improvements since the season started. A big shout out to Adam Dennis for doing a fantastic job running the league. They've played games for 3 weeks and so far, including one hosted at the Brown Gym. Boys basketball, Brett met with head coach Danny Gibson from the high school, and they're going to do a clinic together for kindergarten through 6th grade, which is a 3-week skills clinic, which is real exciting. And then they even talked about starting a league next year, like we do with the girls, working with the high school. He's got students from the team that are going to come help run the clinic. So final details are being wrapped up, but she's excited to continue building connections with the high school boys program. Football and cheerleading just wrapped up the football season. And looking ahead to Friday, October 3rd, our young athletes will take part in a special night at Madison High School football game. The football players will join the high school team for pregame warm-ups and be recognized on the field before the game. And then the cheerleaders will perform a sideline routine at halftime with the high school cheerleaders. This is an amazing opportunity for our young athletes to be celebrated and experience the excitement of Friday Night Lights. We've also met with the Boys and Girls Club and really just ironed out who will be doing what. So they will do T-ball, flag football, and then we'll take them at the next stage, and then working with the high school at the next level. So really it starts with the Boys and Girls Club, moves to us, and then on to with the high school coaches. So she's been working really hard at building those connections and getting that all lined out and done a great job doing it. And then there's a report there. Any questions on any of that? I'll answer what I can, but she was pretty thorough in her report of what she's been working on.
Yeah, no, it all sounds good.
This is the senior center update. 128 meals were served in September. 26 bags of produce were handed out. Their last day trip was to Spring Mill Park on September 17th. They'll be visiting Brown County State Park in Nashville in October, and they had so many signed up they needed a second van. They started a new board game on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. They have had their crafts created wood pallet scarecrows during their September craft. Every week there's pool Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 10 a.m. Euchre and pinochle are played on Monday and Thursdays at noon. Bingo starts at 10 on Tuesdays. Congregate meals are 11:15 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. He's currently working on the Harvest Festival, which will be Saturday, October 25th from 4 to 7 p.m. That will be at Bicentennial Park. There's a petting zoo, pumpkin patch, rides, and more. Sponsorship opportunities are still available. If anyone is interested, please reach out to Brett at the Senior Center.
Okay.
Any other questions on that? And I lost my agenda.
All right, moving right along, I would ask Mr. Christian Hansen to give us a grounds report.
Hello, everyone. Quick and brief, the work at Crystal Beach, we're continuing. I'm doing some odds and ends down there and continuing the close down mode. I've got all the pumps set up to keep the water out of the pool for the winter, so we're good there. We're winterized. Let's see, the contractor's coming back to do some punch list work on the bottom of the pool. There's some cracks and some piss taken out of the pool. We're going to come work on that. For that matter, the pool's pretty much put to bed for the year. It's in good shape. It made it through the winter or the summer wonderfully. The locker rooms have been getting a lot of use. We used them all in Chautauqua, made some money out of that. Used them at the music festival, made some money out of that. So Crystal Beach is in good shape. Sunrise update, it's coming back. The rain was fantastic. The rain has helped. Our aeration's helped. We're scheduled to do verticutting and aeration on greens middle of October, depending on weather, when it cools down. If it stays like this, we'll just push it off a week, but we'll try to keep everybody, through Roger, we'll keep everybody informed what we're doing. I did get set up with our seed supplier that we had talked about. I don't have any money for it right now, but that avenue's open if we need that. We've got winter work scheduled for Sunrise through a bunch. This is the winter of drainage work. We're going to work on a lot of the drainage that will help alleviate some of the issues that we had this year. So hopefully that can work out the way we want. Rucker, a little bit to add to Rucker. We're still in fall softball. We have a fall league of softball, and we're still in Light White football. So there's still activity, and the soccer association's still using it until the end of October. So there's still a lot of activity at Rucker, and there's still revenue being generated at Rucker. And the last thing on my list, there's a group of private individuals that have approached me about raising funds and donating money to install sail shades over Hargan Matthews Park. In your packet, there is information or sketches from the architect. I'm informed that group that the city, I basically said, as far as the city's perspective, they can pursue what they would like as far as fundraising or how they want to do this, but the city is under no financial obligation to help. And I voiced our concerns about maintenance. I voiced my concerns about maintenance in the past. As far as any endeavors moving forward, I believe there needs to be an endowment or some sort of funding to help maintain these parks. We cannot consistently just turn things over to the city and we have to fund them. Those sales will be, that roughly the number I heard on that project was somewhere between 30 and 50,000. Those sales will need to be replaced periodically throughout the years. There's going to be damage. They'll need to be taken up and put back down. There's just maintenance involved in it. So I explained to that group that I would bring it to the park board, briefly discuss it. You guys can discuss, and I'll be happy to answer any questions as they come to me. But that's kind of what the thought process was. There has recently been, the poles are set now, and there's a sunshade is going in the very north part of the park. There's a concrete slab that was installed, and the shade, this has kind of gone back and forth for several years. And the shade cloth, hopefully we'll have it here within the next month. That one at the top of the park will be there. But this one is to go over the actual playground. So we can discuss further when I have more information, but right now I don't have any more information than that. I met with a representative of the group and the architect that designed it.
Could you remind me again, where did this originate from? Like the idea for the shades?
From the
A local
private
Madisonian.
A private group? Okay.
I believe it's part of the regular, the original
Marcy
group,
raised the funds
The
from the
original.
paper.
but not the original group of the park.
No, not the original.
Okay.
Just the shades.
Yes. So it's a group, it's an individual, it's a group.
Okay, so if I add up these numbers in the box here on they equal 10,600. So we got to do that 3 times? I don't understand the numbers.
I don't either. That was given to me through the architect, and that was given to, the numbers don't mean anything as far as, we're not paying for any of it. It's a privately fundraised.
Right, I'm just trying to get a grasp on how much.
Without
Because if
looking at it.
you look at this, you're thinking you're going to be able to do this for 10,600, but yet he told you around 30 grand.
Yeah, there's no
So, and are we positive that because the big issue 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, were the poles and fall zones?
The poles will be constructed out of a fall zone.
Okay,
Everything is around the perimeter.
okay. And who did you, where did you get this source? Did you know someone or did?
They approached me.
Okay,
This group
so they
approached
went
me.
out and found excellent job.
Yes.
Okay.
How long is this design supposed to last? They have any idea of what the architect says, how long these will last before they need to be replaced, other than if something bad happens before then? I mean, is it 5 years, 10 years?
I would say in the 5 to 7 year
Yeah.
range.
Of course, at that
The
point, it would just
poles
be,
or-
right, the sails would be the only thing that have to be
Sails.
replaced, correct?
The sails will be, everything's hurricane proof, everything's wind proof, it's all done to spec. The poles will be stainless steel, and then there's stainless steel cabling system where that runs off pulleys and cable. So it's just basically a bunch of tarps,
Yeah.
triangular tarps that are,
Well, once you get more information, you can bring it back to us. It's great, it's a nice design, but the maintenance would be a concern.
yes. I mean, it goes back to the flood,
Mhm.
where we're at now. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where we're at. If something happens, what happens?
Well, the idea is the poles are gonna last longer than the sails, right?
Yes,
So it's
absolutely.
just a matter of replacing sails if they
And I
get
made-
damaged.
I made a suggestion, if this does move forward, purchase 2 sets of tarps, so we have a spare.
Yeah.
So we're not, we have one damaged, and we don't replace it, or we take it down, and then we have a hole. Just, we just need to think of maintenance. We need to think
Right.
5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Well,
This structure will take a beating.
would they fade over time from the sun?
Yes.
Would it look poor? You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
yeah, I don't know.
It'll be just like a flag or any other tarp that you leave up over time, UV rays, it'll break it down, and they'll need to be replaced. And they will fade. I think one of the things we're talked about were red, white, and blue to match what is there. And there's every color option you can imagine, but to try to stay, well, in the same theme.
So they just ask you to bring it to us, like, just to review in advance.
I was asked to meet with them before they even started this, if there was going to be any pushback or any problems with the city's side of it. And as far as them investigating, trying to figure out if they want to raise this, no. But there will be no, as far as funding from the city, that we can't do that. As far as our park budget. Now, maintenance-wise, we'll have to, because it'll fall on part of the park, but
That'll probably be our biggest concern, like the guys have said, is
Well, yeah,
the
it's,
maintenance, like you said, people turn stuff over, and it's very generous,
it is.
but then we have to have the finances to keep it up.
The other part of that park is a perfect example of it. When the flood came, the turf floated. We had to remove the turf, and to put it back was hundreds of thousands. We don't have that in our budget. And I don't want this to become an eyesore. It's a wonderful idea, and it's a great project, but it will need to be maintained.
so my only concern for them, or question, I guess, for them would be if, let's say it does cost $50,000 high side to do this. Would they have the wherewithal or be willing to raise additional money to put aside for, I want 20% put aside.
I believe so. This has been a very head project with you, Sam. I mean,
Yeah.
she's very dedicated to this project.
Well, and
I would think, and part of her approaching me before any of this was to get these questions
Sure,
answered or something out in the open to where they know what to expect.
right.
And,
They want it to look good
they
too
wanted
for a
to look
long
good,
time.
They wanted
Yeah.
to maintain it for the long haul.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a win-win. It's just getting to that point.
Right,
And I told them freely, go out and do your fundraising and just probe however you want to do that. But I was very clear about the city's stance on the side of that, financially. I mean, labor-wise, we can help. It's a part. We're going to do
Right.
what we need to do. I just don't want a $10,000, $15,000 bill to pop up to you guys in 5 years saying, hey, we need to replace these tarps. Well, why?
right.
Just so we're all in the know. And as I get information, and I wanted to present this just, it's in front of you guys, we'll contact again with, I'm sure I'll be in contact with them as they progress. We're going to talk monthly, I think she's talking about. So I should be able to have updates periodically.
Do you feel like you got from us what you were looking for, as far as feedback?
You have it in your packets and you're aware of what's happening.
Okay,
That's what I thought.
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you. Sunrise report. Oh, sorry.
While I do have the mic, I would at this time of year, we're winding down in our year. I would like to really publicly commend our team, Roger at the golf course, Les at the campground, Brett over there, and for really more for anybody than Brett Cahill of what job they did this year and what they're doing right now. I'm extremely proud of our team. I'm telling you too. But I'm extremely proud of our team and what they've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Roger Gallatin, Sunrise Report.
There it is, okay. I prepared a little packet for you all in front of you. I'm going to highlight first September. 10% growth. Last year came in at 40,400. This year, 44,596. I think I was more excited about the first time we've cracked my goal for the round count. 2,086 rounds. I was setting a forecast for 1,991. Broad scope full year on that. Last year we did about 16,000 rounds. I was hoping we could get 18,000 rounds this year. To give a little bit of scope on this, some of the bigger markets are doing 30, 35, 40,000 rounds at some of the bigger markets. So if I can get us up to 20,000 rounds, I think it's going to solve a whole lot of problems, just in volume wise. Obviously the numbers are starting to go down as the season winds down here, still, trying to do around 30,000 October. Do have on these numbers, I do have about 2,500 receivables outstanding still, so that'll help in October when those checks hit the account. And year over, I've got us at about 313 year to date versus last year's 255 year to date. So definitely growing at the golf course. Excited about the future. Boots on the ground kind of stuff we're doing. The rate proposal next, I'm seeing some very positive growth in the weekends, and that's where I'm proposing to raise rates, but also attacking the league play through the night. We started a couples league, just kind of a feeler. Got a lead out of Eagles Haven downtown. The girls league wound up and the couples wanted to play. And I said, yeah, we'll try it out. And I thought we might have 6, 8 couples. We've got 15 to 18 playing on a regular weekly basis. So, and I was kind of using this as a feeler to see how to structure it for the spring and be something more structured. But yeah, I can see us, 18 to 20 couples in the couples league. $20 a head doesn't sound like much, but when you get them every week all summer long, it can really change the cash flow. So I'm excited about that potential. Any questions on past performance before I talk about proposals for 26? The last
Roger, is this going to be our year?
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, do we still,
I'm still very bullish. Anytime I talk to any of my colleagues that are at other courses around, that ever since COVID hit, golf has been on a boom, and it's not as growing as much. It's kind of flattening out, but it's still growing. Golf is growing across the nation. So yeah, I see it, positive numbers coming in the future too.
Okay.
I don't think it's out of the question to grow another 10-15% next year over the numbers that we've been, talking about, which I've been consistently beating last year's numbers. I kind of set some aggressive goals there, but really kind of that's my bottom line number is do better than we did last year. So yeah, I'm still very bullish on golf in general.
if we take away those lease payments that I know are dragging you down, how close are we to like breaking even? Just ignore the lease thing, because I know that's $50,000 that you didn't count on, you didn't budget for.
Yeah, no, I felt pretty comfortable being able to produce 600,000 in revenue this year.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Still need to get there?
Well, I'm just asking if he thinks realistically we will get there.
I'm still trying to figure out the budget side of it, just like you say, you take that away, I don't know,
Okay.
how can you take that, it's my expense, I have to cover that expense, but it's part of the deal. Now, with that, can the golf course be at $75 to cover those expenses? No.
Right.
You know, I also did some, when I was studying these rates, I did some market comparisons. I think my high water mark is $60 on a Saturday at Shadowwood, but they're right on I-65. I mean, it's a little bit different animal, so I'm trying to get, close to them, but I think a $50 threshold is where we're gonna start to scare people away here on the weekend. Right now, we're at 45. I'm proposing going to 48. In these rates, all of my increases are targeting my busiest times. I don't want to touch the senior rate because there's not hardly anybody out there this morning except seniors that are paying $29. Don't want to scare that traffic away because that's hard to fill. I want to keep the league rate at $20 because I think that is growth potential for us in the future as far as rounds go and revenues. So very modest increase on the season pass. I kind of figured that somewhere in that 5% increase range there. Still want to have the target of a pre-purchase price at this year's rate, so you can purchase 26 pass for 25 prices if purchased before the end of the year. Give us some additional cash flow at the end of the year. When I package it together, our most common season pass out there is the single with the cart pass. Last year, it cost them, at the very bottom of that last page, $1,525. Play 7 days a week, as much golf as you can play, not pay anything, that one-time fee. Proposing taking that just over $1,600, $1,605, which is an $80 increase. Other than that, my primary increases there are going after that weekend business, which is where I've seen the most growth. That taking our weekly Saturday morning rate with a cart from 45 to 48. Could we push that more? Maybe. But I don't want to go too high and give people sticker shock when they came here last year at 45 and now we're at 55 or 60.
Yeah, I would like to chime in that these rates are golf board recommended as well after some push and pull.
Yes.
And there was some heavy discussion and lots of different angles coming from the golf board on proposing these rates. And I would have to say that if we continue to push the rates, I'm going to start feeling concerned about the play because we're always looking for that number, right?
Yeah.
The number where we're going to max out the amount of rounds and people coming to play golf at Sunrise Golf Course while still having a rate that is competitive. And so if we continue to push these rates year by year, we're eventually going to see some pushback. The locals have been pretty amenable to these rates the last couple of years. Even this rumored increase right now has been favorable to the people I've talked to so far. But I would be cautious about going much farther this year or next year.
There's also, I'd like to add one more thing to that. My relationship with my superintendent, there's a point to where the round count can be detrimental to the condition of the golf course and drive business away. So if we get too cheap, too much play, it can tear the golf course up, and that will be counterproductive. We'll have people not coming back. So there's a happy medium price there, where you can keep your golf course at a certain level, but also still cover all of our expenses. So I don't think we're there yet, but these season passes that we're selling are putting a lot of rounds on the golf course. I guess that's my final point.
Okay. So while Roger's up there, is there any way in our budget in the future we could take that lease payment and put it
It's already
in the
moved.
campground? Or
It's already moved to the food and beverage tax for next year. I've got that under
Thank
my
you.
other items, but it is taken out of the Sunrise budget. completely.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm assuming the majority of that is golf carts. There are some mowers and stuff on there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both.
Okay.
Any questions?
This is probably a question you may not know yet, but if you applied 2026 rates to this year's rounds, how much more revenue would that generate? Do you have any idea? Is that digging too far in the weeds?
Get your calculators out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would be broken down by weekend and weekday and twilight and everything, so I didn't know if you looked at that.
I mean, I could come up with a number because we're tracking member rounds.
That's what I wondered.
The percentage is 40%. I'm under 40% of member rounds, total rounds, so, yeah,
I was just curious.
yeah.
I mean, I know it would make it go up, but you hope for more rounds next year, but you don't know what
Right.
the year holds, so
Right.
based on this year, I just wondered.
That, I mean, if it helps computations, that 40% number has held pretty true most of the year.
Hasn't?
Yeah. 40% of my rounds are out of that season pass category.
So the outside play, and what has the discourse been about our price point from people not from around here?
That were unbelievably inexpensive. I don't wanna say cheap, but yeah, pretty much anybody coming out of Louisville, Indy, Cincinnati, they're used to paying $60, $70, $80 on that Saturday morning.
And do you talk to these people after the rounds? Like, are they happy with the product and the price? that they
Yeah, that's kind of my baseline training with my whole staff, is we're trying to get everybody to come back one more time. So get very positive feedback from pretty much everybody that's been out on the golf course and played, and they've had a good experience. I expect more than half of our rounds to come back. And I've seen that in the growth on the weekends too. It's a lot of online bookings. That's the other thing is, Golf Now in the past has been a tool where I'd discounted some prices at times people didn't want to play. So the most valuable tee times at 9 a.m. So $2 cheaper to play at 8, or $5 cheaper to play after 12. I've gone away from that model altogether. Pretty much everybody that's booking online is paying that max rack rate at 45, no matter what time of day they're playing. So that tells me they're not price sensitive as they have been in the past or in this market. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
All right, I just want to mention that we're starting to look at the fees for everything next year. We got our copy today.
We do I have several other items that we need to go over.
Oh, okay.
Before we jump to the rates, can we go ahead and have I asked Hillary to come and share some updates on John Paul Park, because we received a grant from Bethany on some renovations for there. So the DAR has been working with us, and Hillary is the one who applied for the grant and has been very successful. We've gotten 2 grants, actually, one from the foundation, the Community Foundation, and one from Bethany Legacy Foundation. So Hillary, if you'd come share a little bit about that. Great job, first of all, Hillary.
Okay. So I hope you'll indulge me with a little bit of background for those of you who may not be familiar with this project that's going on. I'm a member of the John Paul chapter of the DAR here in Madison. And it's the chapter that created John Paul Park back in the early 1900s when it first became a park. DAR is a service organization whose members are lineal descendants of patriots involved with the American Revolution. The chapter wasn't able to continue the maintenance of the park after it was originally formed, and gave it over to the city in, I think, the 1970s or 1980s. But we've continued to be supportive and involved with the park, and more recently in 2023, formed a joint working group with representation from the city and the Parks Department, representation from our chapter, to restart a project that John Paul Park Conservancy plans that they had created by a professional park architect in around 2008. Sadly, Jill Keller, who led that initiative, she passed away. Everything was mothballed, and so we're bringing it back to life. And it's super exciting, but before you get to any of the good work, you have to do the foundational work. So the chapter applied for and received a grant, as Tanya mentioned, from the Community Foundation for some engineering feasibility work. We just received this year a $140,000 grant from the Bethany Legacy Foundation for Phase 2 of engineering design work, which we hope will be completed in the first quarter of 2026. That will allow the city to put the project out for bid, and we'll find out how much it costs. I mean, we're assuming this is a $2 to $4 million project, but I will caution you, funded entirely through grants, sponsorship, public donation. The city is not putting money into this. Although if circumstances change and the city has some money to put into it, that would be absolutely awesome. So we're hoping to start fundraising sometime in 2026, and how successful that is will just determine when work can start. But some of the highlights from the original, we call it Jill's plan, there will be the addition of a walking loop in the lower level, improvements on the ball field, a pollinator garden, the addition of restrooms, water access, some storage for the Parks Department to use. But importantly, we're going to maintain the sort of quiet, contemplative space that's up on the 3rd Street level. The big item will be addressing the erosion on the hillside between the upper and the lower level. Part of that will be addressed through terracing that will provide seating for the ball field area, but we'll address that hillside. That's the really big ticket item in this project. So any questions for me? Or did I cover everything you wanted me to cover? Okay.
We should have that. A month or so, we should have a plan for a draw.
In a month or so, we'll have a plan, so, an updated plan. So we have the original plan that Jill and the Conservancy hired a landscape architect in Louisville to create. We've dusted that off, updated it, and there'll be further updates with the help of this next engineering piece of work.
Thank you.
Well, I look at the park every day, so
Oh, you do? Okay.
yes, I live across the street from it, so I'm interested in
Okay,
maintaining and improving
yeah.
the quality of
And
it.
twice a year, the DAR does do a cleanup project at the park, just to let people know that it is receiving attention. You know, we're not there yet with the big work. The next one will be on October 11th, and we're hoping to have some Boy Scouts join us and maybe some neighbors as well.
What time is that, Hillary?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. on
So
October
meet at the
11th.
gazebo if you're interested. Bring your own gloves and water.
Right.
And I have for you, I know everyone else has copies of this, but this is the brochure that Hannah helped us put together, which talks a little bit about the project, a little bit about the history of the park. So I hope that that's helpful as well.
I don't see any of your stuff in there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice job.
Hillary. And, yeah, she's done a phenomenal job. I do want to thank the DAR. That's one park that has been handed to the city that has not been left unmaintained. They have stayed connected to that park and like she said, twice a year there and still have a real heart and service mind for that park. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, we can move on to the rates, but I did want to mention about the campground because there is one rate that we need to talk about and approve tonight. But I forgot to mention, we extended the season at the campground to November 7th and 8th. when the Mad Hop Festival is going on. We have 27 spots reserved for that so far, so that's some additional income, and I think, is there like 7 left available? So there are still spots at the campground available if anybody's looking for the Mad Hop Festival. We are going to open the campground through the off-season, the third week in November to the second week in March, before we open April 1st for RV storage to bring in some additional income. So we talked about a rate of $350 for those 17 weeks. Comes out to approximately $20 a week to store your RV there. So I should have put that up on the action items, but we do need to approve that rate today so that we can get that advertised and get RVs stored in there. We'll use the online booking system that we already use for the sites, and set that up and let people reserve spots just to park their RV there.
Did you compare these rates to like the storage at the fairground, to come up with your number? Just curious.
I did not. Les advised just based on his knowledge of other places that he had stored, but I forget where you even told me the rate was. But if we filled all 34 spots, be an additional $11,900 of income.
So you're saying you would like to have a vote on this?
Yeah, I think we need to.
It's $20 a week? Is that what you're saying? It
Yeah.
averages out to?
$20.58.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's $350 for 17 weeks, so. And we try it, we see what we get. I mean, if we need to raise it or lower it next year, we'll know. This is the first, it's a trial, it's the first time we've opened it up for that, so. And we've left a week after we close to move out pedestals and do whatever the maintenance stuff we need to do, and then gives us a couple weeks before we open April 1st, if we get them out of there the second week of March.
I don't have any problem with it.
I don't either. So there will be no electricity, nothing available, and that would be
No.
made perfectly clear.
Yeah.
No one's living in it. No one's using it as an Airbnb.
No, the pedestals get moved out for the winter.
Just want to make sure that we're clear on this.
Yeah, strictly storage.
I'm good.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then the rest of the rates are here on a chart. Thank you, Carla, who organized them from 2024, 25, and 26, so you can see a comparison. And we're
And
not.
used big font so you could read it. I think we would like to chew on these until.
For sure,
Next
yeah.
meeting,
we're-
because, the guys have only had it for a couple days. They haven't really had time to look at it. I
Yeah,
haven't.
this is just the first
time
look.
either.
We don't have to actually approve it till December. We don't have to wait that long, but
I know Roger wants to get the Sunrise
The
renewal
season
fee
pass.
thing, but we can do that at our next meeting. He
okay,
just needs it done, like, 1st of November.
okay. Yeah, and Mindy just got these today too, and the mayor, so we're in discussion with them about them too. And if we have feedback from them, I'll bring it to you.
Okay, and since we're having trouble with our meeting time, we're considering the last Wednesday in October, which is the 29th. It's 4 weeks away, so it's, basically a month away. Instead of doing it, I know that you guys are unable to meet November 5th, which would be our
Okay.
normal one. November 12th is kind of late, so,
So the 29th,
and I
October?
think, David, you weren't here when we were talking about that. Does that
October
affect
29th.
your schedule? If we meet
No, I was gone the first week in November. Or I
Okay.
am gone the first week in November.
So everybody looks okay for October 29th?
Works for me.
Okay, Tanya, is that it for you?
No, I have one more thing. The senior center, actually two, rental agreement is there. We had the senior center available for rent on the price sheet. Printed it out a few times, but didn't really promote it had never had a rental agreement in place. Again, this is just for you to take and read through. We don't have to do anything on it tonight, but we mirrored it off what we have for Hunter Hall, just adjusted it for the senior center, so if you want to take a look over at it, we can approve it when we approve rates. And then food and beverage tax, I'm sure you guys are aware, takes effect January 1st. Letters are going out from the mayor to all the local businesses that how to implement that and pay it. And then 100% of that tax will go to Parks and Recreation. So, wanted you guys to know that. And the projected amount for next year is around $715,000. So, great news for the Parks and Rec. Much needed.
I just want to say before next month, because I know Phil's got to go here in a minute, he's got some commitments, that our percentages are getting really low in some of our categories, and it's kind of worrisome.
Yes.
There were only a couple that were in the negative, but there were some 10% or less, and it's September, well, October officially
October, yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's going to be hard to approve claims of something that we think is even remotely frivolous. I'm not saying there is any of that going on, but I'm just saying we're at 1%, 4%,
Yeah, we know.
okay. That stresses
cut
us out.
spending.
We don't want to be the fall guy
Understandably.
again. Okay.
Understandably. We're meeting with Mindy tomorrow morning just to look at some areas that we need to do transfers, and we're well aware.
Okay.
And we have cut spending the last couple months. I mean, well, all year we haven't spent anything that we didn't have to, so.
Thank you for the update.
Okay. Phil, we know that when you have to leave, you have to leave. At this time, I'm going to open it up for public comment. If you would like to approach the podium, we would be happy to listen.
Lisa Ferguson, I just had a question. We heard supposedly that the bids were going out for the new Damon Welsh Park, and Tony was hoping that was going to be after Regatta, then it was going to be September, now it's October 1st. So do we know that bids have gone out? Like if we have that plan encompassed, if we agreed on that yet? Because it keeps
No.
getting pushed back, and he keeps going, spring, we're going to do it. And I'm like, well, okay, we're not going to have a park by next September.
Yeah, no, because our, the grant that we wrote, or that we applied for, we came up $250,000 shy. So we're having to make cuts. So we're not ready there. We're not there yet. Trying to make up $250,000. I wish I had better news for you. Christian Hansen, I have one request for you before I adjourn the meeting. Would you consider speaking with the metalworks shop teacher at the high school about making some fire rings for our campground?
Absolutely.
Like a project where, Okay, thank you. Anybody else to approach the podium before we go? All right, our next meeting will be October 9th. October 29th, hello. Sorry, Wednesday, October 29 at 4 o'clock. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
All right.